Yes. So my name is Veronica Obi. Yes, and interestingly, I also work in tech, in no code as well. So I work as a project manager in a health tech firm, and I'm glad to be here with you. And so, before we go on ahead to begin, I'd just like to get one or two people to just share their expectations. What do you think or what do you want to get from Creator today? And the theme of this event is building without barriers, how no code unlocks the next billion innovators. And so I want to know, what do you expect from this gathering? What do you want to learn? How do you want to be inspired to be the next no code tech innovator? Anybody wants to share? Or just pick at random. You don't want to share? You don't have any expectation? Okay, so let me say this, right? Um, I'm glad she said she didn't have any expectation. If you didn't have any expectation before walking in here, you can start thinking of one now, right? Go through your mind and what you expect to get. Don't just come in here and don't get anything. Have an expectation so that you know that when you're walking out of that door at the end of this event, you know that you got something, right? That's how you're able to evaluate if you got something from here. Excuse me. That's how you're able to evaluate when you know that you had an expectation that was met. Okay? So anyone else wants to share?
Good afternoon. My name is Minde, and my expectation is Louise. Yes, thank you very much. My expectation is to network, to connect with people and those, yeah.
Okay. Connect with people. That's a very good expectation actually, because networking is important. All right. Anyone else? Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Emula.
Your name is.
Emula.
Oh, interesting.
So like, actually don't really know much about like the local or revolution for some. I'm expecting to like get to know more about what it's about.
Okay. That's a really good response. She doesn't really know about local. So her expectation is once she's living here, she lives with more knowledge. She lives with knowledge on what no code is and how to navigate this space. That's great. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next or the first agenda quickly, so that we will meet up with the time that we have, and that is the opening keynote. Right? We are going to have a keynote from the organizer of this event, right? And she is a tech expert, she's a business analyst, and she's very enthusiastic about the tech space and building solutions without even having to, code, right? That's why this is a no code event. And I'm talking of no other person than Mrs. Eniola. That's why I'm happy that your name is also Eniola. Mrs. Eniola Onyemechi.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Hi.
First of all, I think we started like 10 minutes late. We're supposed to start at 12. 10 minutes. I apologize for that to start with. Secondly, I would like everyone to like be relaxed, right? I'm hoping that, no, I'm sure, not hoping, I'm sure that by the time you would leave here, you'll be proud that you came here, right? And you would thank God that you were here, right? That's one thing I'm very sure. So yeah, I'm just supposed to introduce to you what the event is about and what no code is. Basically, to answer my namesake question. Right? Okay. Okay. So, if you want to start a business now, let's say a lot of people are students, right? You want to start a perfume business. What would you use? It's going to be very interaction. Let's see. How would you start that perfume business? Anyone?
Running.
Uh-huh. You have perfume business. Fantastic.
So I started by playing Facebook.
Exactly. So when do you talk to your customers?
Yeah,
Oh,
after
after class.
I go my courses.
Yeah.
Then talk and see like my audience and know how I'm making like
So when they want to order, I'm going to get when they want to order the perfume, where do they order from?
social media,
Which social media?
WhatsApp.
Exactly. That's no code. That's no code. Really, like no. Normally, a business owner we want to build a website, right?
Yes.
Hire a developer to write series of code. But nowadays, do you even know what the website is? Right? You go through WhatsApp. WhatsApp is no code. Instagram is no code. And those are some of the things that we're going to be exploring here. Right? So I've worked in the capital market all my life. Right? I left school in 2017. I'm saying this because some part of my notes was, I just wanted to relate with everyone. Right? And I started as God we have it, by the grace of God, I joined the capital market in 2018. Right? And if you know what, let me just explain what the capital market is investment banks in Nigeria, right? Banks that where you can invest, buy stocks, all of that. So they call those people capital markets, right? So I joined them in 2018, and from 2018 to date, I can tell you that there is no investment bank in Nigeria, quote me, in short, put me online, that actually builds their own software, right? They actually use softwares, off the shelf software, they call them no code tools, and they use it to run their business. And these investment banks are banks that run on trillions of naira, right? A single trade can give you billions of naira, right? So we are exploring all of that today. We're exploring how the finance and capital, even our bank, GT Bank, right? They use a software called Pinnacle, and yeah, they use a software called Pinnacle, and they don't have 84, 54 developers that build their softwares for them. So on Pinnacle, they'll build all those channels, mobile apps, web app that talk to Pinnacle, right? And they scale their businesses and they bring in trillions of naira, right? So Creaidetor is showing how Africa can leverage no code tools developers have built. So how can we leverage all those solutions to actually build businesses instead of everybody wanting to build as well? Now, build I mean write code, right? So you don't have to write code to be a builder. That is what we are saying. That's the message that we're propagating, right? You don't have to. Yes, you study computer science. I study computer science. I'm a graduate of computer engineering, computer science, right? But and I know how to write code. But I have gone through the both scenarios. Which one is cheaper? Which one is faster? Which one is scalable? Is using existing software to scale your business. Our friend here has been able to be an entrepreneur even while she was in school by leveraging WhatsApp, right? Not waiting until she leaves school to build softwares or to go big, right? But she can scale from WhatsApp, taking 50 orders, 60 orders. By the time she notices that, oh, I cannot handle it anymore, then she can bring in code. Does it make sense? So we are not against coding, right? It's okay, but it's expensive. So we're saying you can do your business leveraging existing softwares, right? And then scale your business from there. That's where we've used technology. That's where we've promoted technology. And there's one thing also that we don't know. Sorry, excuse me. There's also one thing that we don't know about no code tools. No code tools has opened up job opportunities for people. Now, my role is a core business analyst. I'm a business analyst, but I'm an IT business analyst, right? If there was no code tool, I really cannot do my job. So, what does my job entails? I study the business, right? And I look for solutions that can help the business do their business better. Now, if there are no solutions and no code tools, right? By no code tools, I mean their softwares have been built that I don't have to code to use them. Do you get me? So if there was no tools like there were no tools like that, I wouldn't have a job. Social media managers. If there's no Instagram, will there be social media managers? Content creators. All these things are those job opportunities that came about when we have solutions like this, right? So at Creator, we are basically just propagating the gospel of no code tools, right? We're telling business owners, come on, you can look at the capital market, look at the bank, see how they scale, and you can do your business. We are telling entrepreneurs, we're telling builders, come on, you can build without actually knowing how to write a code, right? I don't know if anybody's like me, but I tried writing code, but I couldn't. Why? Because I don't know how to sit down for it. I like to talk. I like to do business, but I don't know how to sit down for a long hour, knowing how a code is written. But of course, I can read the lines. I can debug. I can build on what someone else has built. That's my strength. And this creator has created a space for me. And I feel like every other person can also tap into these builders, entrepreneurs, students, and you can actually learn from this. So this is what we are all about. We're starting here in Nigeria. We are going to Africa. We hope that next year we do the next summit in South Africa. We hope that we have more creators, more students like yourself join us, learn the solution, right? There are job opportunities. There, even in banks, there are people that they call support engineers, right? What do? They support all these tools, right? So we hope that we create a community for ourselves because there's currently no community like that supports people who build on other people's tools, right? So we hope to create a community like that for builders who actually don't code. My name is Eniola and Creator is by Aid Solution. Aid Solution is my startup where we actually arrange devs. I want to use layman language, right? So we put together developers for companies who want to actually build, and we also recommend no code technicians for companies who actually also use no code tools. We also do software research. So we do research of softwares, business analysis, products development, and all of that. So you can check us out by going to Aid Solutions, aid-solutions.com. We are so if you see Creator is basically creator, but we just put aid in between it, right? So that's why it's Creator, right? So it's basically a creator summit by Aid Solutions. I hope we're able to get some clarity now. And I hope that going to the event, we go with an open mind, we learn from it, join the community. You can go to the information there to join our community and you get everything, all the juice that you can get from this event. Thank you so much. Okay, I think that's okay. I'm here. Okay, so we're going to have some icebreakers, right? While we move on to the next, before we move on to the next session, sorry. So I'm going to ask a question randomly. I'll just walk up to someone and give the person your mic, and I'll ask you a question, and I get your response. Okay. Okay. So, if your favorite app, right, was a person, what kind of friend would it? Your favorite app was a friend. What kind of friend? You can describe it. Would it be dependent friend, an inconsistent friend? I don't know.
Occupation, can I use it?
Yeah, sure, you can use an occupation.
Teacher.
Be a teacher. So, what app is that?
YouTube.
YouTube. That's why I chose you. Looking like. So you learn a lot on YouTube, right?
Yes.
That's good. That's good. Mm. The sister with the colorful cardigan. Let's just take the mic.
Okay. So, what do you do? First, I ask. So, have you ever gone to Google your line of work, you're stuck? You just went and said, "How can I do this?" And you copied and pasted.
No,
Wow. So that means you know everything that you're supposed to do to the.
no, not know everything. I know how to customize whatever it is. So even if I am googling something or asking an AI a question,
Yeah.
I don't copy and paste.
Just sit down.
So I get the idea and then do my own thing.
I love that. Thank you. Okay. Hello. My name is Veronica. What's your name, please?
Points.
Sola. Nice to meet you. So, what's your most used app and why?
AI.
Is it if we were to check the time now, like on your apps, is it generally AI that will have the highest time?
Yeah.
It should. Can we? Can you tell us why?
My God.
Like a dependable friend.
Okay. So you're always using it to research.
Yeah, bro.
Not to copy and paste answers.
I use it for my application.
Okay. That's good. Thank you.
That you're done, bro. So if we do the two videos with new shows.
Princess. Princess. Yes, sir.
Okay. So do you have an idea, a creative idea, about anything as a solution to anything that you have in mind?
Yes, sir.
You mind pitching it today in 30 seconds?
Okay. The name of the idea is the name is actually Nala Subas. It's an AI timetable created for students. In regards situations whereby students are told like they have a timetable for their classes, but there are situations whereby the lecturers are not like they are not around to teach they are not around to teach those courses and
And it's going.
they're not around to teach those courses and they're still in the schedule. Students are not able to get it probably because there's no data or intermediary.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. Well, when you are pitching here, there's something I have over my head, right? If someone walks up to me now and say, "Tell me about an idea or a solution that you have to something," I start with problem, solution, how it works, what I need. Sometimes I can start with what I need, problem, solution, how it works. Okay? So sometimes you can change it, but that's just have it at the back of your mind. If someone wants to do, this is what to do. Just follow that. Okay? But thank you very much. And I think that's a really brilliant solution you have there. Okay. All right. So we'll have one last icebreaker before we move on to the next session. Hi. Good afternoon. My name is Veronica. What's your name, please?
Isaac.
Hmm?
Isaac.
Isaac. Nice to meet you. Okay. So in your line of work, what do you think you would rather have? Would you rather have unlimited internet, or you rather have unlimited battery life?
Unlimited internet.
Why? In Nigeria, you don't face light issues and band A
You can always look for alternative, but if you look at from the angle of internet, even the alternatives you have they also pop up. You understand?
Okay, if you have, so what? How about like,
You said either unlimited internet
yes,
or
I want.
unlimited battery life.
Mhm.
You never specify that there won't be power
Yes, well, I'm
supply.
asking you. That's
Yes, I'd rather have the electric power supply than the electric internet. It sounds weird, right?
it doesn't sound weird. I'm just because on my own part.
Yes.
It's true now.
Thank
I
you.
get it.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, I get you. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so right now we're moving to the next agenda, which is going to be a panel session, right? And this panel session will be moderated by someone else, not me. Okay? So I'm going to bring up right now Samuel, okay? To come over.
So, good afternoon, everyone. So, how are you all doing today? How is Lagos? I'm personally new to Lagos. Yeah. So, we're having a panel session where we'll be discussing some no code. So, we're having two people. So, first of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Samuel, not okay. So, how many of us are Yoruba here? How many of us know mountain? Yes, that's. I remember your secondary school SS1, I slapped a little boy. So you didn't know I knew people, so you called it mini rats. So the minute he said it, I just slapped. Then I went to principal's house, and that was the first day. The minute my mom got to like, why would you do that kind of thing? What was and I told him like he said, okay, mom said, it's the same thing. I said, mom, you know it, you said it. I said, okay, no problem. I will explain for that. So my name is Samuel, okay. So I studied economics from Bowen. Oh, I studied economics. That's my. But before I go back, I was a computer science student for 2 years, and I transferred to economics because it was boring. In Nigeria, you write code on paper. And I was banging on the stage. It was the consistent banging. So 400 level, I packed my load. I went to tell my parents I'm not going to school again. I worked in the business for like a year, and I went back to school. I changed to economics, and it was very nice. But I was even style so I learned no code. Yeah, I like building things. So I think one of the things I did shown today. So yeah, I like building things. I'm an introvert, so mine's my stuttering. I'm an introvert. I like being in my own space. So but you can interact now with the extra partner. So so we'll be having two speakers. Okay. I'll be reading their bios so that we can know them. Pardon. So the first speaker will be having uh, Mr. Oguchi Aguja. I hope I'm pronouncing the name myself. So I will read his bio. So Mr. Oguchi Aguda, he has a lot of credentials, FCIB, FTS, MOIT. So he's a seasoned financial services executive with strategies and a policy advisor. So he brings this deep expertise into pension, impact private equity, venture capital. His career reflects a unique blend of corporate excellence and public sector influence from senior roles at Standard Chartered Bank, where he managed a USD 7 billion credit portfolio across 13 African markets. I think you can clap for that. That's a lot. That's a very good. He served as a special advisor to Nigeria's Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. Okay. Shaping policies that expand across to finance for entrepreneurs and small businesses. So as a fellow of Chartered Institute of Bankers and a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers, Okuche's thought leadership continues to bridge the gap between financial system and inclusive economic growth. He's also a board advisor, a keynote speaker, an executive coach, passionate about empowering the next generation of African leaders. So, distant ovation, Dan. Welcome, Mr. Sheikh. Um, I'm also going to introduce someone else. So, how many of us know the area of growth, sales, partnership, and businesses? Okay, how many of us know marketing? Yeah, everybody knows marketing. How many of us, let me count it, how many of us have heard of Neo Life before? Yeah. If you don't understand the joke, if someone doesn't understand it, just ask the person. It's an inside joke for the investors there. So, I'm someone that, when it comes to marketing, I'm always fidgeting because I don't really know how to like. And I have this thing, I don't like chasing people up and down. If I tell you something is good, you don't believe. You're on your own. So this person is an I'm going to introduce James Oladapo so we can hear it better from the later. So it's someone driven by purpose and is head of growth at Rigo Inc. So with years of experience leading sales, business development, and strategic partnership, James has been instrumental in driving growth. For one of Africa's most forward-thinking companies in healthcare, finance, and health tech. His work is centered on solving real customer problems, creating scalable ventures, and delivering meaningful, measurable impact. A graduate of Lagos Business School, that's a very big school. So James brings a real blend of business acumen, leadership, and empathy, the kind that turns big ideas into sustainable success. Beyond his professional achievements, he's deeply passionate about economic empowerment, education, healthcare access, and poverty alleviation, continuously finding ways to use innovation as a tool for positive change. So thank you very much. So uh, this panel session will be focused on something very, very important. So we all know how many of okay. So I'm introducing someone else. I'm very sorry. Uh, sorry. So, so is representing someone very Mrs. So our panel discussion is focused on breaking set gateway and no code level the playing field. How many of us have heard of some no code tools like lovable software, etc.? I don't know how to pronounce it, but so in the age that we are in now, AI is trying to like see it's breaching the gap. I think there was a time that before you can build an app, you don't know how to code. It's already 1-0. You have to just equalize. So for now, with no code, you can actually do a lot of things. So I'll be having a discussion with this set of people, and I'll be asking questions so we can understand something. And I would like us, if we like Johnson, to show some things. In this kind of event is where you can get your next ideas. So not shy, you can interact with you. So thank you very much. Thanks for leaving it. So my first question will be, when we using said is gate kept, what does that really mean in today's words? This is first.
That's all. Okay, so when you say tech is gate kept, to be honest, when someone sends this question was the first time I heard about it. Maybe because I'm in tech, so I can't really relate to say tech is gate kept. But really, it's just a knowledge. But I used to tell people that one thing about tech is if you don't know it, you don't know it. You cannot lie. It's just it's but you know the interesting thing, it's a test that you can find online. Like there's nothing about that that's not online. You know, all in school we used to call it open test. All those tests that they will tell you, yes, you can Google it. Let's see if you know it. That's what tech is about. So you can Google it. Let's actually see if you know it. Right. So I do not think it's get kept. Right. I think it's a knowledge that is out there. But really, it's not for everyone. I'll say it because people like me still to today don't know how to code. Do you get? So I don't really think it's get worse. I said so.
So just to add to what she said, uh, similar. I think the barrier to entry is extremely low, right? Like it's not that kind of thing, right? And also there's like two, not scared to it. It's like obviously the technical side and like the non-technical side. I think myself and area friends, but on the non-technical side of things, like whatever skill that I have today, I apply on the work. Like anywhere else. But I mean, no, like I didn't even learn it. I just got into it. I did it, like, and I probably do the same in almost any. So yeah, like I think that the barrier to entry is very low. Even for the technical bit, as she said, like 1 million resources on the internet. Yeah, like I don't think it's you're interested.
Okay, interesting to hear all of you say that. My one, I think it gets. It does seem as if it's special kind of people that they take these. So yes, I agree that it's information you can find online, but I guess the timing to be able to get to that level, right? Um, I know there's a basic friend that says don't invest in anyone above 30, right? When you above 30, by the time you get to a particular age, kids, work, you don't have that time. But you guys at this time, you can spend hours, online. If someone says to learn, so you right, at a particular stage in your life, you're getting the time, so you don't have more time. So yes, no one skates capture that's it. But the more hours you need to be proficient in that. I guess it's not something you see everywhere. It's not something. That's why a company like Andela makes lots of money trying to get Nigerian talent abroad. Don't really need much. See all this issue with Trump and one visas because the Indians are trying to stop them. So tech talent is in high demand, but not everybody has. So it's not as if it's getting kept, but the number of hours, the time you need to become that kind of talent, it doesn't happen. So I think the analogy will be no matter how much, everybody's having a child, everybody's having a child, man, just get a child. Right, so you didn't just come up, only now. At 9 months is timing at likely that's obvious.
Yeah, I think I would also like to go first of the last week. So the question actually on the surface, yeah, in retrospect, you realize that and further be broken down into two. So the question is, when you say gate kept, what are you talking about? Is it the skill or the solution? Anybody can pick up a computer right now and learn anything. Skill is not gate kept. But the question is the solution you are planning to build. Truth of the matter is the industry has gatekeepers like in the thing. Remember there was a time I think of recent you're trying to build application by office. Understand? So we have the issue with payment integration. Very simple. But the challenge there is getting the right vendor for that. Because I work in an asset management agency, so there is SEC regulation. So that alone has limitation on who you can integrate with. At the end of the day, you realize that the most viable solution you have, they also have the same products you are trying to build. They have infrastructure. So it's more like, are we integrating our position and competitor? You understand? So at the end of the day, you have that challenge. And I don't know, probably if any of us followed the fiasco between Spotify and Apple. So there was the issue regarding payments. You know, Apple has this fencing around their payment. All your subscription is done in now. Spotify came and said, no, can't be paying you 30 or 33% revenue. And so because of that, Apple was trying to kick them out because they have their own, what's it called? Their own music platform. Sorry, I've forgotten the name. Apple Music. So, what's it called? Spotify is on their platform, but because of payments, you can't keep paying you 30% commission. So, if not that Spotify themselves were actually tech giants, it would be like a new startup. You want to host your music on their platform. These are some of the things that you also get to it. So when we say age gap, like I was saying the other time, in terms of the solution you are building, at times you might encounter some challenges regarding implementing those solutions. Can pick up the skill, but then it's now when you want to implement the solution, I realize that you have to go through certain organizations. So yeah, that's just my perspective. You know.
So I think there's a child question. So pointing that the people that difficult said that it's so who would you think who are the gatekeepers and what barriers then?
Okay, let me give an analogy. So, um, anybody can build a website. Um, Now with AI, like I was saying, going to know how to put use a lot to the website. I want to build a website, but I don't have the time. Or rather, pay someone to do it. If anyone wants to be paid, just in the after, or rather, pay someone to do. Um, I don't have the time, and my own do is to the level at which I'm not. Right. So I think, um, in a sense, the tech giants are still tech giants are people gatekeepers, Microsoft of this world, the Apples, like you said, the Amazon, because of the capital, they've been able to build an ecosystem whereby we need them to be able to scale, to monetize, right? And they go outside of their systems. Amazon Web Service, right? You know, they were down recently, and the whole world was, flights and all of that. So because they've grown so big, I mean, too big to fail. Twitter, Facebook, with the U.S. elections, right? It was the key issue. TikTok, ByteDance, the whole issue of in and out of the U.S. and all that. So they've gotten to a level where they are so big, you cannot ignore them. So even governments of the world are scared of them. So I guess the gatekeepers are, as you would expect, they want to protect that. So big guy, big.
Yeah, it's all being the last week African. Just to add one or two. Even if we bring it back home also. So cutting the skill and what class there, cutting the solution. Now it's time to scale. But probably for people that follow Twitter page, realize that there is a capper. How do you raise funding? How knowing someone like Axel? How do you raise funding without knowing someone like Aboyeji? I don't know if you are getting what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, what you're still saying is still boils down to at times you need to be introduced for your solution to scale to the next level. Like you rightly mentioned, they are the big giants in tech. Even also, you might even build an app and probably Google realize that probably a threat to the ecosystem. They won't allow you to onboard it on their platform. What are you going to do? Are you going to build your own app store from ground up? So at the end of the day, or imagine someone like Apple. In fact, if you are not a developer, very first ecosystem you want to build is App Store because you realize, especially if you are monetizing, revenue they are higher compared to the Play Store. Imagine you are building your app, and for people that probably have hosted app on App Store and Play Store, can understand the edit there, where you have to go through reviews, left and right. These things are time. So imagine on a good day you're interacting with someone that realizes that this might be a threat to our ecosystem. You understand? So yeah, things like this, these are the actual gatekeepers that we talk about today. You understand? I just like to bring it back to this content because that's actually where I work with and a lot of this. So at times you realize that just because you have beef with somebody, you are pitching to another person. At the end of the day, you realize that this person happens to be familiar with this person. Before you know, you are just like the people you are following up with, not giving you feedback because it's the cover. So even Nigerian tech itself has its own. Thank you.
I want to add. I wanted to add something like I really want to say something like a movie. MOAT. So yeah, modes. If you watch war movies, you see most strong uh actors. They have they dig a wedge around them, then they put rivers, then they build a bridge. So to beat them, you have to first of all cross the river. They put ladder. And I don't think soldiers, if you watch, I love watching those kind of movies. Yeah. I think the last one I watched was Long TV. The previous one, God of the Rings, Ring of Power. The orcs were actually smart. The elves did not fight them. They stood in their class and just firing at you. So the orcs just looked at the mountain. They saw where the river was coming from. They, I think, threw explosives at the mountain. So it would block. That was when the elves knew that, okay, yeah, these guys mean business. So they started coming out to fight it. But it was already too late. But I think that's what most big businesses do. They create a moat around them. So before you can have access, and I think I did a course about venture deals, and some of the venture capitalist guys were talking about how to get. I said, like five of them kept mentioning the same thing. Know somebody, know somebody. So my idea does not even make sense to you. I have to like know somebody. So even if it's rubbish, just know somebody. I think there's this guy that was training that he traveled from another country to South Africa. And yeah, the response was one. Then he traveled to South Africa. He raised money. I think I found us later. They were making jokes that all of them are planning to move to South Africa. So I think I believe that the gate exists, and sometimes you need access. But the problem is that in a world where we say that the education is accessible by everybody, is that a lie or truth?
So before, yeah. I just wanted to add that, I mean, maybe because so I have no ask. I'm not the biggest evangelist. So I don't think it's a problem with it. But I'm personally of the opinion that like you should do it. You know what I mean? Like how basic people are more likely to listen. And I even think that okay, this is no sense. It's too much content. But I genuinely think that people that are founders, should focus on building product thinking. Right, that's tough. Right? That's extremely hard. But like at the end of the day, if you raise venture fund, right, and you still don't get paid, always there. Just as we've seen, like you literally there. You know what I mean? Like the while you know the conversation about raising funds, literally people, even the venture capitalists, right? They cannot look away from making money. To make money. You know what I mean? Like we can talk about they're gatekeepers, they get fair, you know, not wrong. In some cases, in some contexts, some people are more likely to
in then you are apparently because they have relationship. Fair enough. That's around. That's exactly where it is around the world. But beyond that, you make money, have paying customers. You know, nobody can ignore you. Even if the people that even if 7 people ignore you, others won't ignore you. Or even if you're getting ignored, your business is still up pretty sure. So that's like kind of like what my own bias is. So I'll combine two questions as one. So first, can no code truly level the playing field? And how can businesses and organizations use no code to save time, reduce costs, and innovate faster? For example, I just discovered that I was checking. I like reading news a lot because of business. I saw that Zoho partnered with a company to build a database system for car dealers in India. Then I saw that I was like, why don't we like that kind of thing in Nigeria? Then I usually take a walk because I sit down in a chair all the time. Then I walked to the car dealer for inspiration. There's a car I like, a Lexus XRX 350. So it's white. So sometimes whenever I'm demotivated, I just walk there, look at it and go out from it. So I walked there and I discovered that the car does not move. It's still there. They just wash it every morning. And those guys come very early. 8 a.m. they are up, they are 8 going over. So like if someone builds a CRM system for cars and everybody could access it as well. Then I told someone that is like my mentor and I told him about it. Then the first thing he says is how many Nigerians you kept from the buy car? So my question is that how can no code be used for this kind of business? Because they already have the goods, but like I'm based in Ife, they stay in Ife. That's already 1-0. Because most people that stay in Ife are civil servants. And no civil servant will wake up in this present economy and say he wants to buy a Lexus of like 20, 30 million. That's like a lot. So how can no code be used for these businesses? And does no code level the playing field for everybody?
Okay, I think I'll go first here. Um, it's easy to build with no code. It will save you money, especially if you want to go through the route of James, right? You don't have a BC, right? You want to bootstrap. So what the student here, bootstrap means you don't have capital to start your business. Like you don't have anybody funding your business. You just want to start the business with maybe like your allowance, right? That's bootstrap. So would you want to carry your entire savings, hire developers and build, or would you build no code? Yeah, you start on WhatsApp. Let me bring it down. You start on WhatsApp and build over time. So I think that it's safer to start small, right? I'll use myself as an example, right? When Aid Solution started, we started as a company that wants to build solution for people, but we needed a portfolio. So we had nice ideas. We picked two of these ideas and we're like, let's start with them. We hired developers, paying developers, right? And we could not keep up. We had to downsize the company more than 3 times until I sat down and I'm like, yeah, what are you doing? Right? And with this solution, with less than $25, we could build portfolio, right? So some of the portfolios will be showed here during this event, right? But we could build portfolios, we could get paying customers, right, to the solution. So it's easier for you to just, go through that route. Very easy. So I think that no code yes can level the playing field because just like my colleague I said here, you have a lot of people to still talk to after building the solution. So why not save yourself the stress of building first and then going to talking to those people, right? Then you said the second question is
And businesses use it to
yeah.
leverage.
I think I've also answered that question, right? Yeah. Go ahead.
Right. Because, or you could. Um, so maybe I don't know that maybe how much you listen to. I don't know how far. Maybe I'm most learning here. That's maybe no go to right. I would assume they are already as definitely they can maybe
when you have enough money, uh, revealing your own source code, definitely, at least now you have it. Now you have things that you now let the idea right.
Okay, so um, I think next two questions will be challenges and learning curve. So, like, we all agree that no code can help level the playing field. So, uh, what are the limitations or ways of building with no code, and how can beginners navigate it? So,
So yeah, it's okay to talk about this lastly so that we don't scare anyone. But limit, but there are limitations. Obviously, there are limitations, and one is you don't own your data, right? You don't own your data because you're putting it on another person's platform. Do you understand? So they have access to your data, they have access to all of this, right? Now, big companies that are using no code, you go as far as writing SLA agreements with the company. Oh, let's agree together, oh, come and host it on my platform and all of that. But that is if you have the money, right? An asset management firm that I worked with paid over 100 million just to get that done. But as a small business owner, can you go through that route? So these are like, so you have a big risk with data, you have a big limitation to what you can do because they are off the shelf application that were not customized for your business. So now you now need to tailor the process of your business to match those solutions. Do you understand? So those are the limitations. So if you're in the process, if your business has this process, you need to now work your way around it to see how you can customize. And not all of these solutions can help you customize. Well, except the AI ones that are coming up right now. Right? I'm currently working on a project for a customer or building a mobile app that where you can learn courses from, and we're leveraging a no code tool at the foundation of that mobile app, right? But that no code tool is basically the one that is determining everything that the mobile app can do, not basically the business, right? So that's like a very good example of some of the limitations and the risk that you have using all of these solutions.
Yeah, in addition to what she said, I think I noted about four things. Number one is scalability, that she mentioned. Is that we spoke earlier, we said no code level the playing field. You understand? Means you don't have to have maybe a fortress of money or funds before you can start something. But then you go into low the no code, you understand that at a point in time there will be issues, challenges with scalability. Remember back then when we launched a learning management system, Paul was mentioning something like that. In my own school also they really challenged lecturers, notes, teaching. So what we just did was just created a platform where we have pre-recorded lectures for students. You understand that? How did we even start then? We use WordPress. I was a technical person. I had a friend with business oriented. We have another person for marketing. Yeah, we just use WordPress. They've already WordPress teams for LMS, learning management system. You understand? We use that to start. But at a point in time, we realized that scalability will become an issue. Then the second one is vendor locking. I think part of what you also mentioned. At a point in time, you realize that you've grown to be on that platform. Or at times, there are features you are looking for that that particular vendor does not offer. So the question now becomes, do you jettison that vendor for another vendor that has the feature you are looking for? But don't forget that there will be issues of compatibility. You understand? So that's another thing you have to consider. Then, sorry, please. The third one is technical depth. I think for the technical people, the developers, they will understand better. You need a feature. You understand that this is how best to implement, but because of limitations and things at that moment, you just say, let's implement it this way. At a point in the future, you still realize that you are supposed to do this thing. And so for no code, your idea, you understand that it needs to be implemented, but you have to work within the confines of what that platform is offering you. But then in the future, you still have to come back and do the correct thing. So these are some of the challenges with no code.
So my final question. So, I believe that next generation of, let's say, world changers coming from schools, but I think that our education has already flawed them. I work in my grammar school on Thursdays and Fridays, and some teachers very nonchalant. Like carry my system, but the students like me. That's the funny part. So when your parents they want to pacify them at the intermediary, yeah. So one day I was building something on my system, I was just doing something, then I finished it, then I looked back and all of them had already gathered. I'm like, oh, how did you do this? I was like, ah, is this too? And I was like, don't people do ICT? One of them just laughed, laughing software. So how can we bring this thing into schools? Because there's a particular one of them that wants to do computer science. I was trying things and both looking at me shocked. I was like, have you all those tech things that you think students have heard of? Have you heard of like C++, Python, all this? It was just looking at me and I was like, let us take. That's what happened to me to my else. And his dad said, it's not worried, I'll just read it and fast. I said, tell your dad that there's a dropout that I met in school, that did computer science. So how to help those children know that okay, you can use this thing to play. Then I have a cousin that the boy has started building games since JSS3, but the father did not agree. But now the father is shouting, "He's my boy," up and down. So during his break in JSS3, he came to my house and I told him that you can learn Python by doing all this gaming stuff. Then his father said no, that you can't be reading physics and chemistry. So I taught him for a while. Then father saw him. Then I think he started helping his father do something with Python. Then he started teaching his own father. So now he's in SS1. Father is telling me that I should teach him more. And I'm like, I've already gotten to my knowledge that you have to pay. Then man like he's looking for a cheap place. And I said, sir, if you want this boy to go up and you can get money from it, then I think it's so I think I did something that was a tactics. I got the salary of what he's trying to do in dollars and I screenshotted and I used this as phone. So I messaged him that he's ordered with the phone. He said no. He said it's with the phone. And I said, give it to your father. So I now sent it to him. I said, this is the kind of salary you get in do it. Father now saw it. Father now replied back. I said, please send me link of places. So my point is that how can we impact it into schools, into business, especially schools? Because Africa is going to be the largest economy with young people. And the young people don't even know how they can leverage. So that's my final question.
Thanks. I think it's two-pronged approach. One is with schools, one is with families. China, I think compulsory from 6 years old. AI is that same with US when Trump came in. I think from kindergarten in the US, 8 years old. So you can imagine what those kids will be in 10, 15 years time. Because they're already growing up with that. It's part of them. For us in Nigeria to compete, it has to be a national policy. Thank God the Minister of ICT, he used to assist up, so he's thinking that way. But then it has to flow through Ministry of Education and it has to be a national policy. One of the things that you find when you discuss with people who run the country, there's big disconnect. And when you talk to them, you just don't, can't you guys really see, because the average age of Nigeria is 18 years old. And the average age of the Nigerian culture is about 57 or so. So already there's that gap and they don't see it. So there has to be that deliberateness in the way that our education is structured, the educational system, what we're learning, how we're learning it. So that has to change right from the primary school. Second thing is from parents, right? If you're not getting it from the school as a parent, like your dad, as an argument and say, where the world is going, my children is going, I need to, even in the way we interact, extracurricular activity. I think it's two things from family and then from policy. Very important. We have to figure out as a country.
Yeah, said it. Thank you very much, Simon. Thank you. Hello. So thank you very much. So I hope we have learned one or two. So next person will be coming up. So what would we? So I would like us to like maybe interact with it. So is anybody in computer science? Yeah. Okay. What level? 300. Okay. What people already have somebody here? Okay. So what about that courses? You can just echo your course. Okay. Okay. So I'll just say this. I know that some of you have been hearing tech, but you're thinking how does it relate to like what you're doing. So for economics, I don't know if you know that there's an area of coding related. You know, just on yeah, SPSS is for babies. I think you should find out. I learned that in a day, actually, from my parents. You can learn something like learn Excel. My dad is a professor, actually, and there was a time he coded with Excel, and I looked like an idiot in front of him. And my dad is over 60. So, let's just put that. So, you can learn Excel. For someone in accounting, I believe that sooner or later, accounting is going to leave pen and paper. Yes. I'm presently learning accounts because it's something that I want to do in terms of business operations. I just finished a class and I was telling the person I was using Excel to manage a business. I've never met the owner of the business for a year now. I just use accounting to calculate whatever she sells, expenses, track customers, and she pays me. And it's a 2-hour job per day. Some days I can divert the work to the next day. To stress. Can learn those kind of things. For someone like computer science, if you don't like coding, I think you should learn no code. I'm going to mention some few later on. So don't think your education is structured to just focus. You can, like I think there's a joke I used to say that you can take your course. Even if Nigeria is not going to give the tech aspect of it, you can take it. For accounting, numbers, for economics, maybe after you see me, there is an aspect of economics. For example, Bloomberg, who has heard of Bloomberg before? There's this software they use and they give out to companies for stocks and all. I don't think we have that in Nigeria. And the guy that designed it, he designed, and that's what Bloomberg used to make. So economics is just not the idea or policy making. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope we all learned from that session.
Yes.
What did you learn?
Okay, I learned a lot actually about.
Can you put a lot in 2 sentences?
I learned about no coding that I can use it to take my business to the next level and really making sure that I learn about it, even if Nigeria is not really giving room for it, I can use for outside the country.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to ask one icebreaker before we move on to the next session. Right? Okay, so I'm going to walk up to someone random. Okay. Hello. Good afternoon. Okay, so I want you to combine your favorite snack, the name of your favorite snack, with a random 10 word to come up with a startup name. Let me give you an example. Jollof AI. So, but now that was food, right? So now is your snack, your favorite snack, and a tech word to come up with a startup name.
My favorite snack,
Yes, and a random tech word.
Plantain chips.
Okay.
Plantain chips, yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. So we're having the next session, which is going to be very brief. We're going to have a session is banking fintech session. So it's the title is No Code Banking Accelerating Financial Inclusion at Scale. And the person who will be taking that session is no other person. He was in the last panel session. Is Mr. Uguche Abuda. Okay, so we're doing a swap, and another person is going to come up before Mr. Uguche Abuda. So the next session will be on creators and marketing, and it's going to be on turning ideas into reality, how creators can build without code. And it will be taken by no other person than Mr. Bolaji Junai.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
That is the mic. Which one are you searching for? I choose the mic. Alright. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. You just set me up now. We're talking about fintech, and all of you saying I should come up. People are already thinking of listening to money things. Yeah, I'm not a money. Okay, so I make money, but yeah, I'm not here to talk about fintech. But I'm here to talk about creativity and marketing, right? It's my slide up. Oh, right. Cool. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you guys speak to you this afternoon. I'm not a tech group, but I make money with tech. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's right all of us that can do coding. I mean, right? This is a no code service. So it's not all of us that will do coding. But I make money through, tech, using my wisdom and creativity. But I think to give context to this session, I think it should be interactive, right? So I made a bit of slides. I'm not sure my slides are quite fantastic, but maybe you like them. Right? So I titled my session, No Means Yes. Can somebody tell me what inspired that title? No means yes. I mean, there's 5K available. What inspired the title? No, senior. Okay, I'm my front. What inspired the title?
In my own opinion,
Yes.
a rejection and a venue for you to talk.
Awesome. You're coming up. Okay. I want you to say something else. So, online, social media, right?
Okay.
So, when they say which gender? Which gender does that?
The opposite just
Males, right. So when they usually say that ladies, when they tell you no, they actually what? Males. You understand, right? I'm getting somewhere. So when they gave me the topic, I was like, what can I do to make it interesting from the start? And it's the fact that when you have no code, tells you that there's a lot of yes possibilities for you. When you are not operating with a no code mindset, that means there's a lot of possibilities that you can take out from the world. And in terms of, my name is Bolaji, right? I do small things. And the next year, so that's me. I'm still a young man, even though there's some white hair here. Yeah, but I've done marketing for the last 15 years of my career. And I'm not a small boy with that. Yes. I'm sure that I'm so to all of you in this room, very much. If you have drank pink milk before, raise up your hand. Pink milk, Coca-Cola, Pepsi. So I've sold all of it. You know what that means? That means I know how you think to an extent. Because I tell people that I make you buy what you buy. You don't need to meet me, but I actually putting some ideas in your mind. So when you get to that talk shop, you pick Coca-Cola over Pepsi, or you pick milk over cowbell. That's how we think in marketing. So I've been privileged to work in advertising for the last 15 years. So I've worked through some brands, Super Commander Energy Drink. And you guys remember? You guys know that, right? So let me give you gist. You guys like this, right?
Yes.
So you know that before now we used to have Fearless. We have Powers. You have Red Bull. Those are energy drinks. But guess what? When COVID happened, the owners of Pepsi in Nigeria, Seven Up Public Company, they are one of our clients at the time, right? And they said, they want to start doing energy drinks. Guess what? We created Energy Super Commando. How did we come about that? We look at all the existing energy drinks. All of them are talking about animals. Powers. There's an animal there, right?
Yeah.
Red Bull. Yeah?
Yes.
Bull, right? Also, Fearless. What was the animal? Thank you. But we are like, all of them are doing animal. Why can't we do? When you hear Super Commando, what comes to your mind? No, there's a name. The agency here. When you hear Super Commando, hey, Van Damme, Okogan, all those people that are. So we talked about the fact that if all the competition in the market are talking about animals, we want to talk about human beings that have a lot of energy. And that's why we named that drink Super Commando. You see? That's nice. Yeah. So, I also went to school, Lagos State University. I think I really like them. Don't give us. Yeah. Well, yeah, Lagos State University and also Lagos University. That one is Depo Baby School.
That's what they are.
Yes. All right, so moving on. Yeah. Okay. So you can see what I'm saying. Does anybody, can anybody tell me that you don't interact with any of these brands in their life? That means I've sold you. So a round of applause for me. Yeah. All right, moving on. Okay. So I want to just, I asked the organizers and thanks Eniola for inviting me to this session. I appreciate it. So I just want to quickly do a random check in the room. So I hope if I speak, please remind me. Wow. A random check in the room. So who are the people in the room? Students? Students? Just raise up your hand. Okay. Business owners. Almost everybody should raise up their hand now.
95 hours.
95 hours. Okay. Who else? Business owners, yeah.
Jobless people.
I'm looking for another set.
Jobless people.
Oh, yeah. That can be actually a thing. Are you jobless? It depends. So, there's something that don't have regular job, but actually making money. Yeah. So I get an idea of this room. And for me, first of all, everything that we do in life, there's something that is in everybody that has been put inside of it to deliver to the world. If you don't deliver, it's your problem. So whether you know coding or you don't know coding, that thing is still there with you. And I can tell you for a fact. So when I say, everybody, when I say student, then also asking business owner, I believe that you don't necessarily need to leave school before you have something you're doing. When I refer to business owner, I also don't mean that you have already established one CST company like that. No. I'm talking about exchanging of values. I was using a call card when I was in secondary school. Way back 2000. As I had a business card, guess what I was saying to my fellow students? So I was in a secondary school, just males alone, boys only school. Boys only school, that's where the funny thing happens that boys only school are the ones that are interested in the girls most. So when you're in the mid school, you might not even send your fellow female student. But boys only school is the way you want to show yourself if you don't have money or you don't have to pay football, is the fact that the girls in the other school like you. Interesting, right? So me, as a young man then, I was just like, what can I sell to my fellow students that they can give me money? Guess what I was doing? I was actually writing love letters on them. Guess what? Because I realized I can write. I know that boys want to those girls. And I know that I can put my service in that exchange. And I usually write love letters. At some point, I graduated to handmade cards. Yes. And by the time we are done with school, I was already doing banners up and down. I was actually 14. Yeah. So, I use that to open this session to say that the next slide. Creation has ended. Discoveries are endless. You know what that means? Meaning that God has finished everything creation and is resting from watching over us. After 7 days, they say God rested. So, meaning that everything that will come out of this world is already in. Do you get the point? Because guess what? It was somebody like Thomas Edison that actually decided that why can't we do bulbs? Did God create the bulbs? That means the making of bulb is already existing. But somewhere, somehow, Thomas Edison sat down and think this place can always be dark. Can we create bulbs? And I can't remember, maybe 18th something century. That's when we had bulbs and see life now. Different type of bulbs, chandelier, everything. People have already created other types, right? So meaning that whatever you want to become is already with you. Whatever will happen, someone somewhere sat down and said, is it not possible that we have something that will fly from Lagos to New York? Or from France to anywhere? Is it not possible? Somebody created aeroplanes, right? Did God create aeroplanes? Somebody discovered that it's possible. And guess what? I'll handle this. My company name, I've worked in multinational agencies, but I started my company 3 years ago, and I'll give you that gist too. My company name is called Wi-Fi Night. You know what brought about the name? Somebody want to try? Wi-Fi Night. Wi-Fi WHYFINITE. Just somebody, hey, please, thank you. I'm not sure that it's 5 Kisha. All right, please.
I think
I really wish I can capture this. Please, go ahead. Can you speak up? Let me give you one. Oh, okay. All right.
so. I said that I think that you are building up a point. So that yes, out. This is what you are saying. We are like
Fantastic. That's a round of applause for that, please. So, that's the beauty of this kind of session. I've also gotten another idea from what you just said. Because, guess what? When we were thinking of creating that company, I've always been the person of asking whys. And I asked myself, what is reigning in this life right now? Wi-Fi. So she got that part, like Wi-Fi. Everybody, have you not noticed that whenever you get to a place, there's Wi-Fi? Yes, like unconsciously. Because you just think that when you plug into a Wi-Fi, your life can be better. You're not bored. That means you can access a lot of possibilities, right? And we just thought ourselves, okay, I like asking why. So we told ourselves, okay, Wi-Fi night. So we keep asking why, using the Wi-Fi as a medium. You see what I'm talking about? So in creating your whatever company, whatever business you want to do, or probably you have something you're doing right now and you need to create a product, you don't need to think too much. Just ask why. Why must the bottled water look like this? Stanley cup is raining, right?
yeah.
Somebody created it, right? Is it different from other cups? It's still doing what other cups does. But somebody just created Stanley cup and put some marketing gimmicks behind it. And everybody wants to buy Stanley cup. But they both hold water, right? So guys, we are in a third world nation. And we are hoping that with everybody in this room, putting our heads together, thinking cabs, we can change that position in the world. Nigeria is blessed. I'm not the most afraid of Japa. But the truth of the matter is, my product has Japa. You know what I mean? Like, Bolaji is outside of this country, but it's still based in this country. Because I'm collecting dollars when I make some product. So for today, let me brag small. With the little three years I've spent as a business, that's my home business. I've worked with other agencies before. And starting with the next slide now. Next slide. All right. So I want to equate this to the fact that the power of no code is the fact that you have limitless possibilities for you. Because when you put your mindset on the fact that you have to be a developer, right? So I'm coming back to the base of some of the key things that we're discussing. When you think of the fact that you have to be a developer, there's a limit to what you would think. But when you think from the aspect of solving human problem, I think that is where the juice is. Because for me, when I started my business, I left the companies I was working for and I told myself that, okay, now it's time to go to a business fully. Because I used to run a business before going to 9 to 5. But after 9 to 5, don't time about 10 years, I started my business 3 years ago. And guess what? With my laptop alone and one PA, she was collecting 10,000. God bless Soda wherever she is. We just started meeting in the morning and we just look around. Who are the guys that are struggling with their social media? Because that's the low hanging fruit from where I was coming from. And we created a pack for them, like a social media pack. So whenever you tell them that we have a pack that it will give you templates of everything you need to do and we sell. I mean, our first selling is we did 50,000 naira. Like we sold it out. However, guess what? Between 2022 and now, don't tell anybody. Tell anybody. I still need help pass. But our business is over $1 billion worth.
Wow.
Well, yes, I can brag. Because somebody sat down one day and asked himself that, yes, I'm not a tech bro, but I know marketing. How do I package what I know into a product? I didn't need coding to create that product. In your school, there are a lot of opportunities that you are missing out on. Don't be part of the people that are complaining about the problem. There was a problem of looking for girls back in my own secondary school. That was a problem. You don't understand. So I didn't even understand it that time. It's now thinking about it like, okay, I actually solved the problem. Because boys didn't know how to talk to girls that time. But me, I had a writing skills. Even though I don't know whether it was okay that time, but I tried to sell her. They tried to pass. Maybe that's 30 naira at the time. Yeah, thank you. Because when I said that, I think it is the sweet money that we are now doing. Yeah, it was money. To 30 naira, GS1, GS2. Are you joking? Okay, so I'm saying this to tell you that no code. When you have the mindset that I know, sorry, can somebody give me time? How many minutes do I have left?
7 minutes.
Oh, awesome. So when you have the mindset that I don't necessarily need to be a developer to actually make value or exchange value, it gives you a lot of possibilities. Because guess what? There are some things that currently now, I was on a call with one of our partners in Dubai earlier, it was yesterday, and do you know that all the things they were saying, not the Wi-Fi I go do. Guess what? I collected that job. I have my tech guys that I will give that job. But the money comes to us first. We take our own thing. Do you understand? So, have that mindset. Next slide. Alright. So, can you see that picture? I created the slide myself this early hours of morning. Hope I try. Yeah. So, I decided to use the famous jollof rice. Can you see the rich around it? Who doesn't like it? Guess what? You just need a perfect blend of creativity. I mean, when I say creation has ended, I didn't necessarily mean creativity has ended. You can use your creativity to just change. Somebody created phone pouches, right?
Yeah.
They didn't exist when the phone started coming out. But people realize that phone usually fall down and they drop from phone. How can we protect them? Somebody created this. Your data. The data is, for instance, in your school. How many boys, how many guys want to hang out? You can set, I'm just giving this idea. I don't know how it works, yeah. You can set, people like to be outside now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can set up something where people always come to you to look out for the outside events that are happening outside, and you be the plug. That can be a product, it can be a service. I don't know how it will work. But I'm just telling you that when you combine creativity and the data that is around you, right? And tech, possibly, not necessarily coding kind of tech, you actually can create a product from it and you make good money. I mean, I want to learn from you guys. Most of my team members, we are about 10 in my company. I'm the oldest of the full staff. But I have some goons that are consultants in the company that I run. But I live my life around Gen Z a lot, around young people, because they actually are the lifeblood of my company. Most of the conversations you guys have between yourselves, maybe you talk it from a place of gisting, but it's actually you're leaving money on the table. Do you understand what I'm saying? As you guys are gisting, talking about problems, talking about issues, somebody can be listening to hear the product that is in that problem by using creativity, data, and tech. Let me tell you something. I mean, I'm not sure how much is raining right now, but there were times that we had notepads being used for Akara. You know, they use Akara around the notepads, right? With all humility, I can tell you for a fact that I was one of the first persons that started that thing in this country. Way back 2004. 2004, 2003. I sold at Shido 2004. Does anybody know Shido? Okay. So remember my journey from notepad, from letter writing to not banners, letter writing to card, handmade cards, to banners, printing. I now realized that people actually waste their Ankara jeans, when it's long gone, right? I now started wrapping Bibles with Ankara, with jean, with materials to make them beautiful again. And that's how we started way back. I left that business maybe 2010, 2011. That was what survived me in Nassau. They were calling me CEO in Nassau. I was not a small boy. I was not a small boy. But guess what? It's about creativity, data, and tech. Next slide. Ideas are everywhere. Somebody remember one day I was like, people like small chops. Let us start selling in traffic. Right? Small chops was only in parties before, but somebody brought it into traffic. So what are you bringing to this world? After I've seated, please, what are you bringing? Somebody has to collect something from you of value and give you something in exchange. That's how we can continue to progress in this world. Do you understand me? Ideas are everywhere. Ideas are everywhere. There's a parking problem in this place. Because I was coming, I find it. That's a problem. Is somebody looking at it as a problem to solve? They're everywhere. Every day you leave the house, right? Think about it. Have a mindset that I want to go and solve a problem, or I want to pick up a problem that I can solve. It might not be immediate, but if you notice there is a problem, you can, just continue to move over it. One day, God will show you the solution. Because the solution is already here on earth. You don't need to go and dream, or angels should appear before the solutions will come. And usually they come in sleep, actually. As somebody know another one. Sleep. When you sleep, first things you think about in the morning is Rema. I'm a Christian, so I can tell you. It's Rema. Except you don't work on it. Ideas are everywhere. Execution is rare. We can talk in this nation. Even me, I'm guilty. But there are some things that I've used my mouth to say, I'm not executing. But the ones that I execute, if you say those I don't execute. Because the word I'm here. By the grace of God, does anybody use a Sony product in this room? Sony. Use a Sony product. Big girl here. Share this money. Use which one of them? What? Sony. Sony has the X straightener. X straightener. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Wow, interesting. I didn't know about that actually. Well, I'm just saying, like, if you use a Sony headphones, in the last 2 years now, my company actually markets Sony in Nigeria. Advertising and everything that they do. As far as we are. Sony is a global company. But was the day I executed that Kitsu product of 50,000 naira that journey began. So what are you not doing right now that is making you money on the team? I didn't know Sony from anywhere. They called all the way from Dubai that they needed some things to be done in Nigeria. They don't have an office here. But if I didn't start that 50,000 naira product, they come. They won't even know that we exist. Or Polaki exists somewhere in Ikeja. Do you get my point? Then finally, I think that's the last slide. The next one is start small, build fast, iterate often. It's as simple as that. Let me tell you the gist. Just remain a child. Children don't give up. Or how do you think you started working? Children will crawl. They are being hurt, but they will still crawl, right? They will stand up, walk, they will fall, they will stand again. But guess what? Even when children are playing with stuff, they make mistakes to crumble, they will do it again. But you know one thing, when life has shown us, you now start thinking that you can't do it again. There's nothing about if I fail on Wi-Fi 9 today, right? If something happens, God forbid. But I mean, life can life, right? I always tell myself that I can't be stranded. That's the mindset I want you to walk out of this world today. That whatever thing you have can be exchanged for value. If you fail at something now, you can actually start again small. Like I said, I only had a PA, right? At the time I started this company. I have 10 staff right now that I pay salary and some consultants. I started small with my computer, right? I was not even using customized mail address at the time. I only use my Gmail, wifinite@gmail.com. So there's no excuse for anybody. Because somebody was like, I want to register the business. Well, yes, it's good to register because I register because I know the meaning of registration, trademark the name, because I know that the company will grow. I did all those ones. And it didn't cost me up to 200K at the time. So anything you want to start, just start. Ideas are, just start them small, build fast, iterate often. Lastly, yes, I think I've said a lot of this already. When they shout power on social media, power! This is your own power. Your creativity is unique to you. How I will do it is different from how that lady will do it. How you will do it is different. Your creativity is your power. And with that being said, next slide, lastly. Let's bring it on. Questions, answer, next slide. Yes. I think I've delivered my session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for that really beautiful session. Okay, so any questions? If you don't have questions, okay.
Thank you very much, sir. I will start by asking sir for pouring your knowledge onto everyone. So basically, my name is Moise, and I'm a first Moise. Moise, Nuiizz. So thank you, sir. So basically, I currently have a 9 to 5 job, and I work in brand and marketing company for a fashion HR and consulting company. Surrounding senior advisory applicant. So is it possible to transit from the fashion industry to advertising, PR and advertising industry? Because I've always been a fan of PR and advertising, media generally. Yes, they love you so much. So is it possible to transit from fashion to advertising?
Yeah. So, I mean, how long have you been doing this? The fashion thing. It's possible now. So, quick one. I always tell people that people in our own industry, they are like the luckiest because we know little of everything. That fashion that you know right now, or whatever you do at this current place, will help you in your career in PR and advertising. If you want to do PR and advertising, you'll get my email address, send me a mail, and then you can look up things already. All right.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Any questions? Any more questions?
Giants, questions are always.
Sorry.
That's Samuel.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
This is your mail address.
Yes.
No wonder.
So, thank you very much. So you mentioned that I have to do some things. I think you mentioned that you were transiting continuously. Okay. How did you navigate that? That's one. Two, you mentioned about advertising. I actually like advertising, and I'm sorry to say this. I find Nigerian advertising boring at times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Collect the job. Collect the job.
Because, so what I do is I watch Super Bowl adverts.
Right. That's the importance of advertising. Yes.
There's one I still like. NFL players cannot advertise alcohol. It's against the law. But Patrick Mahomes advertised an alcohol, and throughout the advertising, it looked like he was advertising a torchlight and battery. So when I saw the advert, I was like, this is torchlight and battery. So I was going to research. I was like, this is an alcohol brand. But they rebranded in such a way that you needed to buy it. Then I said, oh, this is an alcohol. So I decided, but there's no way to actually enter that because I want to go into business operations and I'm looking to start my own idea lab. But I discovered that I'm not someone that likes all these chasing people up and down. I like the creative side.
Yes.
Then get someone to undo my operations for me. So I don't know how it's possible to learn all these things and usual. Then I wanted to ask that, were you ever exhausted in the process? Because me, partially I am exhausted. I have a vision of what I want. But when you sit down at home and look at the present stage that you are and where you are going to, there's this. Yes. So how were you able to navigate it? And is it that you planned your trajectory, or when an opportunity just came, you just grab it?
Wow, that's a lot of questions. Thank you. But yeah, fantastic questions. I think that I'll start from the last one. I think that there is a lot of 70% of planning in my trajectory, and there's the place of God at making it happen, right? So from secondary school, you saw my journey, right? But I've always told myself I was going to do advertising from secondary school. So I don't know if anybody knows Dr. Shobanjo. Does anybody know that person's name in this room? Even people that want to do advertising, you have not started there. But that's the advertising season in Nigeria. He's 80 years old, but most of the advertising that you guys know now was one that did it. And he's the owner of one of the biggest agencies in Nigeria, Inside Communications.
Oh.
Do you know Alogin?
Yes.
The owner of Alogin is what I'm talking about. We call him the godfather of advertising in Nigeria. So that means you have not started, not done research at all. Because you can't mention advertising in Nigeria and not mention that man. I knew him since secondary school. I was looking for him. That who can be this person that was doing good out in research, that thought about the idea of good out in research to sell beer, like you said. And by the way, you know why Nigerian advertising can be boring? Not everybody will be like you that is smart. Not everybody will be like that, will know all those things that you saw on Super Bowl. No. Their thinking, is quite different. People that are smart get those kind of ads. But Nigerians, you have to sell everything to them directly in a way for them to get it. But I think, maybe, does anybody remember Bank PHB had? Their cars will run on water one day. That came from Inside also. So, those are solid ads also that I can remember. But to bring it home, when you asked me about if I actually plan, I think I planned it to an extent. Then life also happened. That's life meaning God happened to me. Where I told myself I was going to do advertising. However, I had my own company. I registered my company while I was in university, right? But I knew that I was going to go to 9 to 5 because I want to learn structure, how the corporate works. They were calling me CEO in university, but it didn't matter to me. So I went and I told myself I was going to work with the first advertising agency in Nigeria, number one. So I did that. Guess what? I stood in that place for about 1 hour, 30 minutes when it was falling. When Lagos was still very Lagosish, when there was still more way. I went from Yeropaja to Keja, stayed in that company, was working around looking for the guy to come out. Right? That I want to work in this place. By the grace of God, 2 years after was when I got the offer. I left Abuja. I was already earning about 100,000 in Abuja after my service here. They told me to come and Zoom as an intern for 30,000. How many can do that today? I left Abuja, seat of power. I came back to do 30,000 naira work. But the grace of God has helped me because I knew what I wanted. And also, after I left that place for my first year, after 4 years, I told myself that if I'm going to do advertising, I'm going to do the biggest in the world. by the grace of God, Ogilvy. Does anybody know Ogilvy? Yeah. They came to open in Nigeria again. One of my colleagues recommended me. I got the job. And that's when I launched Five Alive back in Nigeria. That's when I worked on Coke. Insight does Pepsi. Ogilvy does Coke worldwide, right? That's how I worked on those two brands. But guess what? When COVID happened, Insight called me back to come back to the company. More money, right? I went back, and that's when we launched Two Shop during COVID.
Yeah.
Super Commando also came after COVID, right? After I was done, I was like, no, I want to open my company. I've learned what needs to be learned. I was an account director already. So, grace happened. COVID was like the worst year for me in my career. But guess what? It was the biggest year for me also, because that was when I learned how to run a business. Like, I was managing about 25 people in my team. That was big. So, even though I didn't plan it, but I called my first time at Insight PSC in advertising, my second time as the master's in advertising, I have now graduated to become the organ of myself. That's when I opened Wi-Fi. But has it been a smooth one? No. There was the day I wanted to shut down Wi-Fi and go and pick up another 9 to 5. Because there was 0 naira in our account. But guess what? You keep going. Now who will give up? So have I answered your question?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you so much, sir. Please, if you have any more questions, so we can manage time, you can just put them down and then you can ask later. Is that fine?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So we're going to have the next session. But before then, I have a very quick question to ask. Can someone tell me the funniest Wi-Fi name they've seen? Of village people. Okay, so we're going to have next session now, and it's on banking and fintech. So it's no-go banking, accelerating financial inclusion at scale. And like I mentioned earlier, the person that will be taking this session is Mr. Bobuche Aguda. Please let's welcome him.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I don't know where to stay. Maybe I'll stay here like a guest speaker. I really enjoyed it. Thank you,
Yes, thank you.
It's the age. Because I know the other show like Joe. I think it's the age. I'll start with something about me. It's not about me. I am, how old am I? I'm not sure whether I'm 6 or 7. I need to check. Well, what I've got. I've got 2 kids, 16-year-old boy and a 15-year-old girl. 2 of them are, they call them Irish twins because they're just about 18 months. I'll tell you a story about that. Well, I'm from a family of 6, 3 boys, 3 girls. I'm in the middle. So, middleman. I'm always trying to bring different people together. That's my personality. I'm always trying to be diplomatic, bring them together. And growing up, I wanted to be a lawyer. Any lawyer in the house? Work. Lawyer, okay. I wanted to be a lawyer. I really love law. I used to watch a lot of Matlock. I don't know if they used to do Matlock. Also, law thrillers, where the local man's like initial appearance. So I really wanted to be a lawyer. I went to court after my secondary school. I schooled in the federal college level. Then I went to university just near here. Also, like graduates. And then I went to the courts. Because I read a book, John Grisham. Anybody read John Grisham? Listen to John Grisham books. Long books. My world's changed. The world's changed. John Grisham books are very popular at the time. Thriller, law books. So I read the book and I said, wow. Oh yeah. So I went to the Nigerian courts. I said I want to apply for jury duty. In America, they call you jury. You leave your house, you stay somewhere, and the one that will really give the judgment. when I went there, there were cases on the land case. Um, didn't seem as fancy as I saw on TV. They told me that they don't do jury in Nigeria. I told my sister said, you'll be poor if you're a lawyer in Nigeria. So she advised me, my elder sister, she advised me not to do law. So what I did, I said, okay, I want to make money. I don't want to be broke. So what will I choose? As my job, I just choose banking and finance. I chose banking. And you like accepted me. Sometimes there were no phones, there were no internet, and I was looking for my admission letter. I didn't know whether I got admitted or not, School had started, like I started. On the last day, someone just, why don't you go to JAM office? Go in. He said, your stuff has been here since, you should have come to collect it. That's how I entered back in Africa. Then year one, away from home. Like can be an interesting animal. Interesting. There's something to be doing back in the finance. I was chasing a woman. But I could write poems also. And I felt I could speak. And then you leave school, you go out party, So in first year, in secondary school, I was always first five. First five. But I think first year maybe I was on 2-1 and then going down. And so I think my year 3 and I did quite badly. Something's happened. Then I had to sit up. And at that time, myself, the person that got first class in my family was tired. There was one course I was doing here and I got the same score. I'm very happy and proud. So at that time I started becoming serious. Because after I now went and realized that this is not me, I was falling behind. Then becoming serious. So that's how banking and finance, I grew a lot of banking. Whether it's financial statement, like stock market, right from school, I was always checking the stock market, checking the financial statement. Anytime I see the governor is giving this, I'm always reading. So that got my love for reading. What I learned in one of the key things I learned when I focused and said, I'm going to finish well, I got a love for reading. I like to read. There was one guy who we used to call Alien. There's some of you are like that. When the teacher, when the lecturer is talking, you already know what the lecturer is saying. He knows everything. This guy, we used to call him Alien. He's so knowledgeable. Not to meet him and say, how do you know all these things? That before school starts, he will read ahead. He reads ahead. So when school starts, you already know. So I just realized that rocket science, there's one lecturer who will come to teach him. We're talking, I cannot hear anything he's saying. We don't understand. So we used to say he's teaching Greek. We had a book. So I said this. I read the book, understood the book, financial mathematics. And I said, this is not hard after all. So that's brought my journey into starting to learn, starting to understand banking and finance. And when I finished, I now registered for professional course in banking and journalism markets. I finished with 2, strong 2. But then I told myself, that doesn't register me, so I'm not really going to do my courses. So I started doing a professional exam in banking. But I qualified as an associate of banking and finance. I was the only first person in my department to qualify. When I finished that, I started doing qualified. So I have associate of stockbroking, of banking. And I became a fellow in 2 of them. And then I moved to the pension industry. I became a fellow at the Institute of Pension. So I'm probably the only Nigerian dead or alive who's a fellow of the 3 of them at the same time. So why am I saying all of this? We're looking at no code banking or no code for banking and financial institutions. And I'll jump on what the last speaker has said. Honestly, I can come here and tell you guys some technical stuff. I don't think that will serve you most. I think is the fact that possibilities are limited. When I got the job as the first chief executive officer of the pension of Nigeria, pension industry. I went for the interview and I tried to do my research, went for the interview, and I was waiting for them to do the interview. So I was sitting on the ground floor, top floor. And while I was sitting there, I looked around and I saw um, on one, on two, for three, a new guideline just came out. I think I went to the internet, I researched it a bit, went to their website. Guess what? Questions, and those are the questions they were asking, and those are the things I was asking. And I got this, I got the job. Even on low code banking and low code sources and all of that. To be honest, before Bella reached out to me, I had not known about it. Right. So what I'm just saying is that you need to be very curious, you need to be studious, and you need to be passionate. Where the world is, there's no one anywhere in the world that has access to that. My own time, growing up, we had some sets of people, maybe they'll travel abroad, they come back, movies that they watch, they're the only ones that could do it. So now we can go and watch cinema or even go on laptop. There's only a particular few people, satellite, there's a big satellite TV, those rich people, ones that could watch certain kind of movies or read certain kind of books. But right now, it's not like that. So we need to take advantage of that. Growing up in your time, you might not understand the barriers that we had, the barriers people had to just get information, right? He said he went to a particular company, waited for about 2 hours just to see the director or the head of that place. And take your phone or LinkedIn and just send the person a message and the person will respond to you. And so the barriers have shortened. When one of the panel were asking the question about there are any gatekeepers, right? The only gatekeeper is your time. And at this time, that's the greatest asset you have of your time. And actually dream. Your dreams are valid. I came to you that your dreams are valid. When I was in university, there was this guy who was son of Central Bank of the in life there, and was so cool. Imagine your dad paying the signature on Nigerian Naira, and that was a dream. Can I have my signature on Nigerian Naira? But it was really about me just being in finance. And what happened years later, I got to have meetings with the Central Bank governor, meetings with the Central Bank governor. I worked as an advisor to Minister of Trade. But it just started with a dream. It started with information. When I had the interview with the Minister of Trade, sat down with me, and I just started talking about the US elections. That was 2000, when Obama was running. It was about 2012 or 2013, I can't remember, 2012. Started asking me, what do you think about Obama? What do you think about his strategy? So in him, I was always watching, always reading, always. So the case is, what do you use your time for? Right? That's really the no code. It's about the fact that this life, there's no limits. It's not the fact that you are born in Nigeria. I always say, I stop complaining. I don't complain. But I love what it says. I don't complain. When I see a problem, when people are complaining about a problem, that means they are willing to pay for it. There's a solution there. So social listening, checking what I'm complaining about. I try to find a solution about that. In Nigeria, we complain a lot, but those things we're complaining about are actually solution. Right? So where was I going on? I was going on somewhere. I remember I was saying something.
I stumble out. Local bank.
Yes, the Minister of Trade. So the Minister of Trade, yeah. So because I had done a lot of research, I used to write also about the Nigeria and all of that. So she was just asking me what I think, about Nigeria's problem. So he had a problem. I was going to solve it, and he saw someone who, by the grace of God, was in tune with those things. And so when we finished chatting, when we finished talking, he said, "When can you start? When can you start?" And it's a journey that I have taken all through the years, just becoming a person of value. It's really about becoming that person of value, right? Because things always change. When I started banking, first job against Standard Chartered Bank, they came to Nigeria in 2001, and I think I joined them in 2002, just 1 year after they came. National Bank. Interestingly, I had gone there before to drop my CV some months before, and the guy told me they don't collect CVs here, they only collect the security guy. When I started working, my job was to supervise it at this team. But I went there, I did the test. You're the first person that has got anything in the test. Correct. I sat down with the CFO at the time. She quizzed me. Same thing she said the minister said. Change that tomorrow. But what I'm saying is that, rather than spend your time complaining, rather than spend your time moaning because Nigeria is not good, this one, that one, use that energy because the same energy you used to complain, same energy you used to get duration, same energy you used to hate, same energy you used to love, same energy you used to dream, and the same energy you used to be depressed. So that same energy, why don't you say positive? The reason why I'm saying that when we talk of financial inclusion, no code, and how banking can scale, when I started banking, no ATMs. I banked with the first bank that brought an ATM into Nigeria. That was 2002. So there were not ATMs in Nigeria. So now, when you use ATM, you just go, your POS. So it has evolved for a while. Started banking, I used to work in operations. What happens is, if you want to pay somebody in Kano, you get a check, you write a check, and that check will go to Central Bank, and you go to Central Bank's office in Lagos, and they move it to their office in Abuja, they move it to the bank, and it takes about 12 days for someone in Kano to get money from Lagos. Now you're saying, I've not seen their last sentence. It takes 12 days up to call them country checks. Yesterday I did an international transfer outside Nigeria on my phone, and the person will get it the same day. Instead banking, I have to go to the bank physically. You sign, it's taken another like 1 week. The national transfer it hasn't gone. You're confirming telex, all of those things. But it doesn't matter whether it's no code or what generation you are. The key core is what matters. Like what he said about there are no limits. Right? Once you are in that place where you can say, what is the solution I want to solve? Don't think about limitation. Limitation about I want to code. I need to learn how to code. Don't think about that. Think about what the possibilities. And once you think possibility, once you think value, as I said, the sky's the limit. So I just want to urge you guys to think values. Think how do I add value to other people? That's one key. How do I add value to the place? Someone won't hire me, don't do a business, everything I'm doing, how does that add value to someone? And once you do that, you'll stop. Thank you. So I'll take any questions if there are any.
Do you have any questions? Okay, I have a question. You made some key assertions, and there's one that stood out. You said 3 things, right? I'll give you 1 clue, and then you give me 2. You said you need to be curious. There are 2 more. What else? Okay, there's 1 more word.
Passion.
Yes, thank you. Sorry. Thank you. He said you needed to be passionate. So you don't have any questions, right? Okay, so he mentioned something else about being passionate and actually getting to do the work. And he said something about barriers. What did he say? What? Anyone else can answer? He has mentioned one. Anyone else? Anything more said on barriers? Okay. You want to say something? Oh. Okay, so he said that barriers are shortened in your present age or in our present age, right? Because before there were a lot of things that were barrier, communication and all. But now it's very easy to do those things, especially with technology, right? So those things that used to be like barriers before are no more barriers right now. And so that is why time is the only barrier you have right now. Okay? Thank you. Anyone else want to say something before we run on with this session? No questions, right? Okay, thank you so much, Sandy. Okay, so we're going to have the next section. It's going to be a product showcase, right? And I'll be calling on Samuel again to come up and tell us what we're going to be seeing. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are enjoying. So, um, how many of us have heard of markets, right? We know what markets are need, actually. So, I'm going to show you something I built called cost square. So I use no code to build it. I used to no code system. Airtable. Has anybody heard about Airtable before?
Yeah.
Excel that went to school. So I built it with Airtable and software SOFTR. So I'll give the backstory. So 2024, I went back home and I wanted to learn some more things. So I'm kind of person that likes learning. But when you research about courses, first of all, when you see that dollar sign and you convert it to Naira, it's very big. That's one. Two, some courses in Nigeria, some edtechs in Nigeria to the price. So I decided, okay, I can find free courses online. So I decided to research. I found some, I did some I didn't get the certificate because you have to like, I can avoid the payment and do the course. So I learned a lot. But then most of my friends were asking, "Oh, I wanted to do this." So I created a database with Airtable at first. I actually learned Airtable, and I discovered I liked it. So I created a database with Airtable, put those courses there. Then I was sharing it with my friends. They were liking it. Then they started sharing with other people. I started discovering that Airtable I built for myself and took it. Some people don't plenty. So and then because I don't pay for premium, there was issues. So I decided to move it and create it properly. Then I discovered software. So I created software. Software is just the front end, the design, the back end is Airtel. So if you can play the video, just go through. So, so this is how it's like. Sorry. These are courses. There are over 400 courses. Yeah. You can see the that come around there. I will ask you to play the video. So you can add new courses. I have about people add courses. So you add the courses or request the course. Once the database are already built, so of course you want, I'll look for it and add it. So there are downloadable courses. So I think there's something I learned that if you type a particular thing on Google, it will bring out Google Drive database. So your Google Drive is not really your drive, it's open. Like you don't know. So you just type it. I think there was a time I was looking for a movie. My former workplace, like the NYSC, so I discovered that I like looking for things that you know of. Yeah. So they gave me, because they didn't know the role to give me, they gave me research assistant. So my boss like movies. So you just come, write movies, and tell me to look for it. And I will fact it. The only movie I could not find, Netflix later did a series on it, Senna. Is a popular racer, very, very good racer. So I could not find, I could only find YouTube. I think it was 240p. I sent it to him and he was like, "How did you find it?" Like, you said I should find it. I found it. Then there's a time we went to a cinema in on the island for Ebony Life. So we had two movies to watch. We could either watch John Wick or Air. Who has watched Air before? It's the story about Michael B. Jordan's shoe. So my boss is a salesperson. He likes stuff. He wanted to watch Air. The other one was like, "I don't worry, no worry, someone will find it." I think 2 weeks after, I just gave him a flash. I was like, "What's this?" So the movie is there. Very clear. So because of this, I actually researched first. So there are YouTube, there's downloadable courses. So there are a lot. So there are some courses that you might click and they have removed the free part on it. So it's high good. So if you scroll down to the end of the video, there's a Telegram channel that you can join. Wait, are you guys understand? Game.sftr.app. Anybody have been successful anywhere? Because the CHR, C4DR, there's different words. QARB does SO. Yes. So, you can access. So you can access both. So you can access all these things there. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So, very quickly, I'm going to be bringing up Mrs. Enyoga. She's going to be talking on logistics, e-commerce, and real estate. The thing here is e-commerce without engineers, scaling online stores and payments fast. Case study, Bumper and Sugarland.
Hi guys, how's it going? Are you guys tired already? We're sort of done. Just one more session and we are over. Sorry. So I just want to I would like to give you an idea of how you can also use local tools in logistics and e-commerce. Who knows Bumper? You know Bumper now. So if you have like a perfume business, you can build a website in 2 minutes on Bumper. And you just that's what you use. Fantastic. So it's a local tool. All you just have to do is in less than 2 minutes, put in your perfume business and all of that. And your store is live. People can actually pay you on Bumper. You don't have to go through the stress of negotiation. Oh, how much is it? 6,000. Oh, you don't prefer 4,000. Hey, 30,000. You just go through all the stress. So put them up on Bumper. Put a link up on your bio, and people buy from you. It's like Shopify. For anybody that knows Shopify, yeah. We have also Sugarland. I don't know if anybody knows Sugarland. So they also use a local tool. And what they built is if you want to rent an apartment, people get scammed on Property Pro. So use verified platforms like Sugarland and all that. I got scammed on Property Pro September. So use verified platform and they built it on local too. So this is just to say that there are a lot of ideas around logistics, payments. Do you know amazing things that you can use Paystack for? Just although I know that opening a Paystack account you need like a CSC and all of that, but if you have CSC, you have a registered bank account, you can do amazing stuff on Paystack. Shout out to James. Okay, so amazing things that you can do with different things. You can innovate around. I wrote some ideas, that you can think of around logistics. I think right now we don't have like a one channel logistics. What do I mean? Like an Uber for logistics. I know you're like something like all delivery people can plug into, and people who want to order rides can also plug into. I think there's something like that one that exists, only one. I can't remember the name now, but that's also a place that you can innovate from, right? So my job here around logistics and e-commerce is just to give you some ideas, right, on how you can innovate around the logistics and e-commerce space. So I don't say that the biggest challenge isn't technology anymore, it is mental, right? So we need to stop thinking of digital transformation. Digital transformation. Digital transformation is here. It's just about everything, all the inspiration that you got. How can you sit down, think of a problem, and actually solve, right? Talking about solving a problem, I lost my dad to diabetes. It's a very painful story because I'm a daddy's girl. And I tried to solve a problem with that. And that gave rise to one of my products called Ubi. Ubi Video. Samo, Ubi Video. So Ubi is going to be sharing on the platform. I built Ubi in less than 1 day with Lovable, right? And what does Ubi does? On Ubi, you can speak to a dietitian. So if you have PCOS, you have diabetes, you have hypertension, or you generally just want to stay healthy, if you come on Ubi, you can book to see a dietitian. When you book to see a dietitian, you can also buy food, right? It's get-e.co. So we have some amazing gifts from Ubi that we're going to be giving you as you're going out now. From snacks, healthy drinks, right? You can get. So Ubi is an healthy food platform. The difference between Ubi and So Fresh is that with Ubi, you have to see a dietitian first, consult a dietitian. A dietitian is more like a nutritionist, right? So you consult with a dietitian and you can have a subscription where you meet the dietitian regularly, right? You need to take food important so that you don't end up in the hospital. So our goal is to depopulate people that are going to the hospital by ensuring that people live healthy more, right? So that everybody don't end up in the hospital. You understand? So that's what you do on Ubi. You can have a full subscription on Ubi. You can have a booking subscription on Ubi right now, basically, right? You can check it out, and it was built with lovable.ai, right? I hope that inspires someone, right? Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. So we are rounding off, and while we round off, I want to ask one question. What's your key takeaway today? Remember, I asked about your expectations when we start. As I said, when you didn't have expectations, start thinking about it. So, what's your key takeaway? Anyone wants to mention? Yes, please. Okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right. While I was coming here, actually, just like the other lady, I actually didn't have expectations, right? But when I got here and I got to know about no code, because while I was in the 200, 300 level, I started going into web development because I love the aspect that people that do those kind of jobs are people that work behind the scene and they're so I got here knowing no code, and it's quite inspiring because when I stopped web development at some point, because I did HTML, all of that using VS Code, right? So when I stopped that, I started with content creation. I went with, because I'm very good with spoken word. I started writing. Then I can also sing. Then I started going into content creation. Started going into all of that. But now looking at this, I really want to, dive into it. And I got a lot from, I'm sorry, Mr. Olajmi also spoke about that a lot, and I'm motivated. Thank you so much. You hear that? Yes,
My take on it is actually you don't have to you don't have to really have this in-depth technological or philosophy to build something. You can just start small with what you want and then or whatever dreams you have.
Thank you so much. So we're going to be having one last session, is a closing keynote session. And this is on innovation without permission, empowering a generation of builders. And it will be taken by Mr. James Oladapo.
Right. I think a lot of the time we need to get right. And I don't even know that I have much more to add. Just like all didn't get around to getting and said so much. And we claim we've all learned a lot of things, which is really, really interesting. So yeah, that makes it very hard for me to do whatever I need to do here. So I don't know much to say. But I think I'll just speak a little bit about my own story, how I start going to what I currently do now, and how we're still figuring it out, I guess. So I had a background in medical sciences. I did physiology at university. I was to Lagos. But pretty confused, to be honest. Nothing. I wasn't quite sure what I was doing. I wasn't even particularly trying to work in tech. I don't think I was. Right. And I'm not a tech guy. I don't write code. So I'm just a salesperson that works in tech. And I think from the line of people that are going to the, you can tell that most people are not necessarily technical people, right? So I just have to be in that space. But I think for me, what it was like just we're just an hunger, right? I was hungry. I just wanted to get things done. You know what I mean, right? And I acquired. I think the people that I met saw the hunger. They just saw that like I was a young child, who just wanted to, who you could just rely on, just give me a go and like I'm gone. I just get it done. And you don't have to look back and all of that, right? And they ended up giving more responsibilities and more responsibilities. And just a little bit, just about 4 years down the line now, like the growth has been immense. I'm just as young as a lot of people that are just like the older, right? And the growth has been immense, if I don't say so myself. And I think that's just a a nod to everybody here to say that like I get that a number of us probably don't even have figured out today. I've heard so many things now. I've heard things that are interesting. I'll probably don't even have figured out because like you mentioned how you started by you're a web developer, now you're doing content creation, and now you're considering no code, which is nice, right? Um, but you don't even have to how you figured out, to be honest. Or at least I didn't think so. Just just do some, just be reliable, just be the person that they're just hungry for more. If you're trying to build, there are a million and one reasons. I mean, I want things that will stop you in the way, right? Even as a builder, right? We have said nice things here today, but like when you get on the field and you're trying to execute stuff, that's the honest to go through, right? But just don't stop, right? Along the lines, you probably iterate, find better ways to do things that you initially thought you had, yeah, figured out and all of that. But like, just be available, be hungry, and just do things. An opportunity will open up to you. You find that you find better ways to achieve the same goals that you have set out to do in the beginning, right? So yeah, like, I know that maybe not every year will be a founder or a builder. Some will work in organizations that are also building interesting things. But ultimately, be true to yourself. And just be hungry. Be hungry for more. Try to take from all the things that people have said here today. From Mr. Bolaji that built the billion naira company in 3 years. From Mr. Buche that has done very interesting things. Over the last couple of decades, just grinding and building and grinding and building and of myself that have like barely 5 years of experience, and I've also gone to senior management level within my organization today. Um, like anything is possible. If anyone even told you, even though I know me into it, going like if anyone told me like 4 years ago that I would be where I looking what I do today with the responsibilities that I have today, I don't think I'll be living, to be honest. It's a bit far fetched, right? Because I'm not like I hadn't figured out or anything, right? But yes, happened, and I think I've been very good. It's not. I don't feel like it's not that way anything. I'm still not, right? But we all can do. You can 3 years from now be like doing some really amazing cool stuff that you never thought to do, right? Yeah. And you're not already the PR for Bumper and the rest of the startup. I was going to do the same for Paystack because I'm joining them. And yeah, like if I open the store front on Paystack, I have video work to do. Just kidding. No, so yeah, if you have CSC documentation or whatnot, you can easily open it. No code for storefront on Paystack. I think it's not no code actually, but like at least you don't have to write code if they are, so yeah, you can do that on Facebook as well, and you get like payments integrations as well, so your customers can start paying you and all that. Don't you bump, use Facebook. Right. Yeah, so yeah, man. I think we've had one session today, and that way.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So we are rounding off right now. How has it been so far? I want one word adjectives like exciting, beautiful, enlightening. Just chorus it. Just tell me how has it been so hard for you. Okay, thank you. Eye opening. Okay. What else? In depth. Go deeper. I get you. Anyone else? Insightful. Thank you all so much for turning up. I first want to give shout outs to our sponsors, Ubi, Age Solutions, Race Consulting, Zanzibar Solutions. They make these events happen, right? And we're grateful to them for that. And I also want to inform us that there's a no code community. If you want mentorship, if you want to learn, how to navigate this space, there's a local community on Discord, and if you want to join that community, you would reach out to someone and he would tell you how you can go about that. Also, Ubi has gone a step further and they have a small gift for you. Just as you step out by your right, just go there and pick it up. And that's it. So we've come to the end of this beautiful, insightful, awesome, in-depth, eye-opening, mind-blowing event. And my hope, right? I am sure, but I am still hoping that what I'm sure is true. I hope that you're living here with a changed mind. I hope that you're living with motivation, with passion, with fire. That you know what? Oh, I never knew there was no code, but now I know there's no code. So I found a space for myself because when I have spoken with a lot of people about tech, and they always say, I'm not content for all those codings. My brain cannot carry it. Right? This is so code now, and so I'm looking forward to the next generation of builders, the next generation of innovators. From just sitting down here, one person has caught a vision to run with. So thank you so much. I remain Veronica, and it was glad to host this event. Thank you.